俺はただ仲間と妹を守るだけだ。
Hello, I'm Silveroxis, and the Nier Replicant collab is here at last this week, and I know everybody's been looking forward to it. This is another one of the reviews for the 3 units coming in this collab. This review is covering Nier, the one-trick pony for break extension that's really, really good. Alright, so what does Nier do, as if we don't already know? Role overview. He's a merchant, and his role is the break extender. His special abilities is that he can extend break to 3 turns and passively buff allies. His preferred weapons are Fortune Spears and Cosmic Spears for overall damage up. Brilliant Spears are great for damage cap if hitting spear weakness, as he can hit really hard with lower hit counts. Preferred accessories is you can make him your spear breaker with the EX skill, so use breaker gear, and he also has a priority skill as well. Other priority skills, I mean, but he's better to carry helpful accessories to buff or debuff enemies. Otherwise, the more P attack and HP never hurts. While he hits less and once damage cap, he shouldn't be your main DPS, but sub DPS at best. Although, to be fair, he's just probably there just to be the break extender. His passive skills, his 1-star passive, he gives himself 30% sword and spear damage up, and also gets 25,000 damage cap up at 6-star. That's basic, just does more damage, capping his own damage passives. His 3-star passive is that while there's a broken enemy, front row 15% physical attack, magic attack up, and 20,000 damage cap up. This is the exact same as Bargello's. Very, very good passive, because just passively buffing the front row by existing is great. And then TP is while there's a broken enemy, give himself 20 SP regen and 1 BP regen. This just simply means that it's easier for him to help out with nuking if necessary on break. So for his skills, on his base kit, he has a 3-hit single target spear and a 3-hit single target sword. Basic things just for shield shaving. He has a self-gain 1 to 4 dodge physical attack stacks based on boost. He has a 1-hit single target spear and a 1-hit single target sword that at max boost has guaranteed crit, but then they always go last in the turn. And then he has a priority 3-hit single target spear that if the target is broken adds an additional hit for 1 times 90 power versus up to 3 times 100 power. So it's not like it's just like an extra hit that uses the same power. It's like a bonus follow-up attack type hit. So like if you use the 3-hit single target spear to break, then he would still do the extra hit. But I mean that's if he's your breaker, which he doesn't need to be. His 4-star skill is a 4-hit AoE sword that exploits dark. And if there's a broken enemy, it instead becomes a single hit with much higher potency, plus 50,000 damage cap. He has a 4-hit AoE spear that exploits dark with a medium 50% chance to inflict paralysis for 2 turns. And if there's a broken enemy, it becomes very high, 95% chance to paralyze instead. Then he has a 2-hit AoE spear that exploits sword and dark, and inflicts 15% physical defense down for 2 turns. Power increases by 1.2 times if the target is broken. And then his TP skill is a 1 to 6 hit single target spear based on boost and exploits dark. The damage varies by boost, either 1 times 230, 2 times 135, 4 times 85, or 6 times 70. This is his highest multi-hit, so if you are using him to sub DPS, this is the skill to use. His EX skill plus ultimate technique. So the EX skill is what he's known for. It has 1 total use, and it's unlocked from turn 6 onwards. So basically, if you're struggling to kill things, he's not for speed clearing, but if you're struggling to kill things, this is actually also the exact same turn you can start using Divine Beasts. That's probably why they chose turn 6. So if you basically set up to break on turn 6 or onwards, you can use his priority 1-hit single target spear that inflicts attack gauge with a countdown of 7 to 4 based on how much you boost it. It's very, very easy to lower this countdown, so you don't have to use BP on this unless you want to. So you can kind of, based on how many support characters you're using and how many characters are actually attacking, so you just have to do the math and know. But what attack gauge does is when you attack an enemy while broken, including this skill, if they were already broken, you lower the gauge by 1, so either from 7 to 6, 4 to 3, however many you start at based on your BP used. Double cast skills, follow-up attacks, and multi-attacks only reduce the gauge by 1 and not an extra time. I will say that if a follow-up attack triggers off a support skill because someone like say for example Sazentos EX is in the air from his jump, and someone does a support skill that doesn't attack, but then his Sky Rave triggers, that will still lower the gauge because it's still one action. Basically, per action, the gauge can go down by 1 if they get hit. Allies and Divine Beasts do not reduce the gauge, and then when the gauge is reduced to 0, the enemy break duration is increased by 1 turn. This can happen at any point if you max boost his skill and it hits and lowers the gauge by 1, and then because they got broken by a Swift Strikes, or if you do this on turn 2 of break for some reason, and then all 3 of your other units do an attack that turn and do 4 hits, it'll extend it. So if the attack gauge finishes on turn 1 of break, it'll still extend it to 3 turns. It doesn't matter when the gauge empties out. Yeah, you get an extra break turn. So this is very, very important. I'm going to cover that in a bit later. His ultimate technique is a damage class ultimate. It costs 4 BP to full charge from ultimate level 8. It is called Dark Lance Charged, and it's a 2-hit single target spear that exploits dark. Power increases by 1.55 if the target is broken, starting at 2 times 240 power, scales to 2 times 285 power at ult 10, and 2 times 355 power at ult 20. This is insanely strong, especially on broken targets. This is going to auto damage cap, so you can just throw this out if you want. The ulti X priority, go for A4 first, leave this unenhanced. So moving on to his Awakenings plus A4 accessory, his A1 is helpful, but he really isn't a main DPS, so he's fine at A0 because, I mean, if he's just there for attack gauge, it doesn't really matter how strong he is because he's just there to extend break. His A2 is a luxury and largely unneeded. A3 helps because HP is always good, it's just merchants are already decently tanky. His A4 accessory is called the Geometric Pattern Arm Cover. It also gives 200 physical attack, just like Kane's. And it also lowers 30 PDEF and MDEF by 30 each. And what it does is, while there's a broken enemy, whoever wears it gains 15% physical attack up, and all enemies are debuffed by 10% physical resistance down. So the A4 tier rating this is an S+ tier A4 as well. This is an exceptionally good A4 for massive quality of life. Your breaker doesn't need to wear this, and all enemies are debuffed by 10% passive physical resistance down when an enemy is broken. This would stack with Hikari's 10% physical rest down as well. And it has 200 physical attack and 15% passive P attack up when an enemy is broken. Sub DPSs love this, or those with high hit counts that they don't need as much damage cap. This is really, really good if you manage to get this, but a well-built account with other A4s can do without this and still reach the resistance down to 30% with other options. So you do not need to chase this, but you really won't be disappointed if you do, because it is just like I said, it's a wonderful quality of life to have. Because, yeah, it's just all physical resistance down. That makes things so much easier. So for an optimal skill loadout, as far as first skill, I would take his TP 1 to 6 hit spear that exploits dark. It's the highest hit count he has. Skill 2, the 2-hit AoE spear that exploits sword and dark with 15% physical defense down. It's the only support skill he has with the debuff. Skill 3, a 4-hit AoE sword or spear based on what the enemy is weak to, so he can help shield shave. And then skill 4, which you can swap in if needed, a 3-hit spear or sword for cheaper SP shield saving, so he can just do something to help if you need him to help. Because there's also a good chance that he's just sitting in the back row waiting to use attack gauge, so just keep that in mind. Because like I said, yeah, in all honesty, he isn't doing much until it's time to EX skill. So unit synergy. Nier can synergize with any team in the game because of his break extending EX skill, so this page will actually just list units to make that work better. So breakers with break passives and A4s like Canary, or those with Swift Strikes to break before he uses the EX skill are good. Mainly BP regen. You need a lot of this to be able to nuke 3 turns of break over 2. Shauna with her 3 BP regen for 2 turns with a buff extension A4 used turn of break can get all your units through. Alon EX BP channel plus Kiln's 1 BP active regen for plus 2 BP, and starting the break with 5 BP can also get your units through. Because if you start with 5 and use 3, gain 2, you're back to 4, use 3, down to 1, gain 2, back to 3, so that's being able to do max boost 3 turns in a row. The key point is, while 3 turns of break is a broken ability to have, it requires smart planning to ensure you have the BP needed to take advantage of it. Finally, 3 turns of break is also where ultimates can really shine as a no BP cost nuke option to let a single unit naturally recover BP for a break. Can really be awesome. So like if you have a build and you're struggling to get BP regen on someone, or someone has actually a decent ultimate that can be used for nuking, like it's like it does like a multi-hit or something, so it's not like complete crap, then if you start a break with 5 BP and you do a 3 BP nuke, and then on turn 2 of break you use your ultimate, you'll naturally gain BP for turn 3 to have 3 BP again, so you can get away with not having BP regen if the ultimate isn't crap. So keep that in mind as well. Other notable examples can be Cygnus, single ally BP regen, Primrose's ult BP regen, Partitio ult giving up to 5 BP to the front row, Partitio also with his latent power for merchants to not use BP up. That can also be very useful for a turn. Merchants with their donate BP skills and etc. Plan your BP wisely. His EX skill attack gauge is exceedingly broken and with so much potential, because a 3rd turn of break can do so much mileage and let you start one-breaking enemies you never could before. Because a lot of times you know there's those EX fights that you were close to killing them, but they just barely survived, or they had a decent chunk of health left. But you know if you had one more turn you could win. Now you can. You just have to plan to make sure you have the BP. That's all. All right. So to pull or not to pull plus rating. Nier has arguably one of the most busted good mechanics in the entire game by being able to extend break to 3 turns. While this did fall off in some cases, I've recently seen it come back in JP due to how difficult content is getting, so that means it still has a super long life, and you only need 1 copy for it to work. So you should already be pulling to minimum 1 pity on this banner, so the odds you get Nier is quite high to guaranteed. This is not a unit you want to skip. As always, pull advice is that advice. Please play your way and have fun. Tier 4, free to play, pull 4,200 rubies to pity. Tier 3, low spin and passes, pull, same deal, go to at least 1 pity. Tier 2, dolphin, pull, A0 is enough, but can chase further towards the A4 if you're lucky. Tier 1, whale, A4 is plenty, but you're going to ult EX anyway. So for overall rating, his DPS is A, support is SSS because attack gauge is crazy. It's the only thing like it in the game. It has to be the highest possible rank for support because it's just that potentially good. Heal not available, tank not available. Overall tier is S+. It doesn't matter that he's a one-trick pony. His one trick is absurdly good. It just is. Yes, you don't need it in some fights. Yes, sometimes there's going to be some situations where you like that, like I said, and you don't need a 3rd turn to break. But the amount of potential for just having 1 copy can bring you, it's just that good that I have to rate him that high because the potential is just there. Like, he's not mandatory for fights, but damn, he can be fun to use. Like, my personal favorite thing I gotta say right now, I have Asuka, and Asuka can literally, with Nier, if somehow the thing survives, Asuka with Nier can do his on break, can ult, and then have Partitio there to give him 5 BP, EX skill, ult. That's a 32 hit break. What's living that right now until like the crazy 50 million plus HP enemies start showing up in this game? Until that happens, what's living 32 hits from Asuka? Nothing. Anyway, so, and a little tangent I want to go off to is Drelub made an excellent guide. I recommend you guys read it if you're in the in one of the discords that he's in, about how pulling in this banner matters and why you should use free rubies and not paids, because paid rubies is only 50% step 5. That's really bad. The free ruby banner is triple banner, which is 0.66% chance per featured unit. You have a free 10 pull to guarantee 1 of them. You want all 3, and you're going to pull 149 more times to reach pity. So you got 110 pull, and you got then you got 4,200 rubies to get to pity. In those 4,200 rubies, not including the free 10 pull to give you 1 guarantee unit, you only need to hit 1 of the other 2 units, so then you can use your pity to get the last one. Because of that, the statistical odds you get all 3 units doing this strategy is 86%. It is exceptionally high, and there's also a good chance that you might end up with an extra 1 or 2, and therefore can use the pity to get a dupe of your choice. Which, in this case, I would recommend getting the dupe on Kane, because Kane wants A1 UltX if possible, but at least UltX. A0 UltX is enough for Kane. Please watch the Kane review for about that as well. Same deal there. Watch that so you can see how the Awakening Stone Pack thing works. That matters more for her than the other units. I mean, however, if you got A3 Nier just by luck, definitely buy. I would consider buying the Stone Pack to get his A4 because A4 is great. It's worth 31 bucks. As a low spender myself, because I used to be a Dolphin, but I've kind of went to low spending myself because of life stuff, but it's fine. Definitely be smart, don't overspend, be responsible. I hope everyone has amazing luck on Nier Replicant because this is one of the most highly anticipated banners in the game. Everyone's looking forward to it. So many players are going to be dumping a full pity into it, so I wish everyone to have a good luck. I'll be streaming my pulls on Thursday, so please come check that out if you want to see me either get really, really happy and lucky or see me suffer and miserable. You know, one of those two is going to happen because it's gacha. It's probably not going to be in the middle. It's either going to be extremely lucky or I'm going to be very, very sad boy. So anyway, come and find out. Otherwise, please let me know after the banner releases how lucky you got and if you got really lucky as well. I'd love to see your pulls and may either be very happy for you or really, really jealous. One of those two is going to be the case, ain't it? Anyway, please let me know if there's anything else you'd like to see from this channel, and like, follow, and subscribe for more COTC content, and I look forward to seeing you all in the future, and again, good luck on Nier Replicant, everybody. See ya.